2007 Suzuki LTZ 400. This is overall a really fun ATV that I enjoyed owning. It has a lot of power. The engine's based on the Z400 motorcycle, and it is carbureted on the Generation 1s. On 2009 they did switch over to from carburation to fuel injection, but these are carbureted. It has some nice features for a race-oriented ATV. It does have reverse, which is very simple to engage. You just put the clutch in, press down on first gear, and turn the knob. Pops right in every time. It doesn't really have a choke, but I never had any issues with it cold starting, and even did some winter riding. It's really fun in the snow, and you can do some great donuts and power slides. It only weighs 373 pounds. In comparison, Yamaha Grizzly 4-wheel drive 550 weighs over 650 pounds, so almost double. So that you can't make any modifications to compensate for something that's just that light. You can't teach weight. A 5-speed manual with the clutch, so it's a lot of fun. 1 down, 4 up, just like a motorcycle. Has great suspension, has piggyback shocks on the front and a single shock on the back. Everything is adjustable for preload, compression, and rebound, so you can really dial in the settings you want. If you want a lot of soft travel, if you're doing some aggressive trails, or if you want to adjust it a lot firmer for jumping for motocross tracks, any and all of that it can easily handle. And once you get used to the feel of the ATV, it is very easy to jump. I was coming off of a heavier sport ATV with 4-wheel drive, so it took a moment for me to adjust to how light the front end was. But once you get used to it, it's almost like a leapfrog. You can just hop over about anything. And it's really easy to pop the front end up over logs, large rocks, and it makes you look pretty cool doing it since it's so simple. It has really great instant acceleration and basically instant power at any rev range. No weakness in the power band. You can just run it out and bounce off the rev limiter pretty much effortlessly. Some of the downsides or cons to this ATV, it's not the best at really low speed technical terrain, something really rocky. First gear is kind of high, so it wants to die off almost like if you've ridden a motocross oriented motorcycle. So you have to either keep an eye on the clutch and keep slipping it, or you could re-gear, or even throw on a recluse, or even add a flyweight. But you definitely want to do some options if you're doing a lot of slow speed stuff. But I imagine if you are, you're probably not getting this ATV for it. It does do great with hill climbing because of the lightweight and the power and acceleration, but you do have to watch the front end on steep stuff and really keep your weight on the handlebars, or you'll get a nice surprise with the front end coming up. Another con is the parking brake is pretty much useless. I've not seen any. Even I had a 14 and the parking brake didn't work on it either. The reason I actually got rid of this one and went to the 14 is I had major issues with the chain adjustment mechanism staying in place. Mine was a Craigslist special that a guy had, a younger teenager, no offense to teenagers, who had gutted the mechanism and tried to rig something up, and it did not work at all. But as I said before, it is overall a really great ATV. Motor will bounce right off the rev limiter. It's so light and spins out so well. You can do several mods to easily get more power, including an aftermarket exhaust and the air filter mod, but I thought it had enough juice that it wasn't necessary to modify it. And I always liked the factory exhaust node personally. I felt like it had plenty of power and it had a nice tone to it. Almost sounds like a 2-stroke motorcycle, so I was very pleased. Overall, this is a really fun ATV that I would highly recommend anybody. Of course, if it's used, make sure that everything's in good shape. You may even want to make them adjust the chain assembly to make sure everything is as it needs to be, but highly recommend it. And I'll post some other reviews later, including the newer LTZ. Happy riding.